I mean, we were engaged, but not married at the time. So if he didn't pass the test,
Taken the dog and ran.
yeah, kicked him out.
But the question is, which dog would you have taken?
Oof. I, I mean, I'd take both of them. It doesn't matter that Kramer was brought into the relationship. I'm taking him too.
Poor Nick.
Welcome, dog moms and dads, to our show where we discuss the everyday joys and challenges of pet parenting. I'm your host, Jen,
And I'm Ashley.
and this is a Dog Mom podcast presented by ZippyPaws.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Episode 2.
The puppy flu.
Okay.
I'm excited for this one, actually.
Are you excited? Did you get over the puppy flu?
I finally got over the puppy flu just in time to want it again.
So when you say puppy flu, what do you mean?
So the puppy flu came around after I got Bjorn, my puppy, and you got Bernie. And we were, I don't want to say reminiscing, we were complaining to each other about the lack of sleep and the late nights,
Early mornings, very early.
very early mornings, and just overall fatigue. And you and I both thought maybe we were coming down with a bug. This is worth noting before coronavirus. And we realized that we were just absolutely exhausted from raising puppies.
So yeah, we call it the puppy flu. I think mine was maybe like 3 months or so. What about you?
That's about right.
Yeah.
I feel 2.5, 3 months and slowly started regaining my sleep.
Yeah, this week Birdie, she had an upset stomach for a few days, so she's been having like loose stools, and she's been waking me up every single morning at 4:30. So it kind of made me think back to the puppy flu times.
Took you back?
Yeah, took me back. Happily, of course.
I don't look back on the puppy flu fondly.
Yeah, and she just comes to the bed and she like whines just ever so slightly to like wake me up. And of course my husband doesn't wake up. He sleeps through the whole thing. So
They never do.
I'm on my third day of 4:30 alarm clocks. So that's been fun.
Although I guess the upside to that is that now she's letting you know when she has to go to the bathroom. I felt like the first month after bringing Bjorn home, I slept super light, anticipating that he was going to have an accident, but he obviously didn't know to tell me at that point.
Yeah.
So at least you can sleep soundly knowing that if she does have to go out, she's going to let you know.
That's true. That's true. Because before it was, I was sleeping, but I wasn't going into like deep sleep. You know, I was always like REM or something, you know, and then whenever she moved, I would just like pop up. So it was like that new dog mom kind of feeling.
Yeah, I'm sure all moms can relate.
Yeah,
Human moms probably on a different level, but
definitely.
I feel though, I mean, the human moms out in the world definitely let us know if I'm off on this, but I feel like human babies are a lot more vocal than puppies, maybe, because I feel like when a baby cries, all of my good friends that have children have told me when a baby cries, they want something. They're either hungry, they have to go to the bathroom, they want to be held. And I feel like the exact opposite was the same with Bjorn. If it was silent, I was worried. When there's that like 5 minutes of quiet solitude and you just slowly start to decompress, then you're like, wait a moment.
You're like, why am I not stressed right now? Well, why is he not over here chewing on something, right?
Yeah, what is he doing that I can't see or hear him?
Yeah, I think that's really a good observation, because I feel like dogs sometimes when they're uncomfortable, they don't outwardly show it too much. Whereas like when you birth a child, you know, you're obviously more attached to it, and you kind of know what they want from you. And then with a dog, they're just, they don't even know what they want half the
Yeah,
time.
there's a language barrier with dogs for sure.
That's true, right? Mine's French, so
I guess Bjorn's would have to be Swedish, but
yes.
do you remember bringing Birdie home?
I do remember bringing home, but I think we have to go back to like the decision to get Birdie.
Yeah, yours was more planned than mine was.
It was a little more planned, but also unplanned at the same time because, we've had Kramer's been like just a single dog for his whole life, and we've been wanting to get another dog for a while, but it wasn't really happening, and we weren't like going to shelters and actively looking for a dog. So we were pretty passively thinking that we should get another one. And at the time, it was last year. I was filming a commercial, I would say, like a video for ZippyPaws, and we used a litter of 6-week-old puppies, and we were kind of like following their puppyhood. And so we would visit this breeder out in Hemet in California. I visited this litter when they were, I think, 4 weeks old, and then 5 weeks old, and 6 weeks old. So we were out there every single week filming. And, Goldens are my favorite type of dog. So I knew I had to get one. So I didn't.
I was gonna say, how do you follow around golden retriever
I
puppies
couldn't
and not end up with one?
So we were filming in the pen, and they were like 4 or 5 weeks old, and they were climbing all over me, peeing everywhere. And I just knew I had to take one home, right? And we didn't anticipate getting our next dog from a breeder, but it's just what happened. So I'm happy about it.
I mean, I think it worked out beautifully, honestly, and especially bringing a puppy in for Kramer was, I'm guessing, probably a little bit easier for him than a dog that had an established personality, really. Although I will say that baby Birdie and poor adult Kramer were also he had some struggles there as well.
He definitely did. So the first day that we brought Birdie home, I was actually not home. I was away on a convention. You were there too.
I would say you were with me.
Yeah, I was with you. So we were allowed to bring her home when she hit 8 weeks. And I wasn't there that day. So my husband went alone to go get her. And I was coming home in 2 days. So I'm kind of sad that I missed her first day because I see videos of her on her first day, and she was just like, she was a fearless little puppy. So she would go in the yard and like walk around like she's like queen of the castle. And then she was trying to like get her footing with Kramer too, because she didn't really know, where she stood with Kramer. And then Kramer really, really loved her from like the day one. You can see, I'll post some videos too of like Kramer seeing Birdie for the first time, but he was so, so excited. I think the excitement wore off in the first day because you see pictures of him the next day, and he's got this stone cold look on his face. Like,
he's like, oh, wow. She's still here.
Right. Like, she's still here. Why is she not going home? Why is she still here? Right. So it's definitely a transition. The first day he was super excited, and then the second day he kind of calmed down. And then as she was growing up too, she was always annoying him, being the annoying little sister. And I think it took around 3 months for him to warm up, and now they're best friends.
I feel like that's an episode of this podcast in and of itself.
Right.
Honestly, how do you acclimate an established dog to a new dog? How do you bring a new puppy home?
Yeah, for sure. That's something that we can definitely talk about. But I think in summary, it's just having patience. Dogs really need to work out for themselves. And it depends on their personality too as well, because Kramer is very, very passive, so he'll let Birdie like walk all over him, and he doesn't mind. But over time he's like gained his voice, so when she's taking like a treat or a bone from him that he's playing with, he'll bark at her so she'll know to stop and back away. So she
And I think that's important.
yeah, and now she's being very respectful. She'll look at him playing with a toy, but she won't go and get it until he's finished.
Yeah, I think my favorite videos of Birdie and Kramer is when she learned that she could go under him and then jump and just upend his entire backside.
Yeah, that was that was all the
Poor
time.
thing.
Yeah. So
Poor
funny.
thing. She never did that to Bjorn, thank goodness. Luckily, they were closer in size.
Yeah, so you actually got Bjorn before I got Birdie. So tell us about that.
I did. My story is less thought out than yours, I would say. My boyfriend and I knew we wanted to get a puppy. Well, let's reverse that. My boyfriend wanted to get a puppy. I wanted to get an older dog solely because I wanted to avoid what I now refer to as the puppy flu. I told myself I was not going to do a puppy again, but he had never raised a dog from puppyhood, and I will say I think that's an experience in and of itself, and I wouldn't want to deprive him of that. We had scoured, I would say maybe for the better part of a week or so, just rescueme.org, different local shelters. I mean, any place where you could adopt a puppy, we were looking. And we came across Bjorn, who had been born to a golden retriever mom, and we were told was likely a German Shepherd dad, but we're not sure. The mom was obviously with him and fell in love. We were kind of going back and forth, and the conversation kind of died a little bit. And the next day was February 13th, and Nico asked me if I wanted the puppy for Valentine's Day. And we decided while
Who would
he
say
was at
no?
work, right? It was simultaneously the most romantic and, looking back, least romantic Valentine's Day I've had. We picked him up that night, the night before Valentine's Day, and it was just this mix of emotions. I hadn't had a dog since I had lost my heart dog, Stella. And I just remember when we finally had him, Nico looked over at me and I was holding Bjorn and just bawling hysterically. So emotional. And he goes, "Is this a good cry? Is this a bad cry?" I'm not sure. It was 100% a good cry. Just this little bear cub sitting in my lap, essentially. Took him home, and Nico worked the next day, Valentine's Day, and I stayed home with the puppy. And why I say it was the least romantic is because I spent the day cleaning up accidents on the floor.
Right.
I wouldn't change it for anything, but it was a pretty whirlwind decision that I'm not entirely sure we thought through. I'll put myself on the chopping block for that one. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor of our complex at the time with our 2 cats. And anyone who has done it, and I'm sure there are plenty of people out there will commiserate with me, you should not get a puppy in the 3rd floor apartment of an apartment complex. Trying to potty train a puppy and taking them out, what was essentially every hour and a half, was just awful. I feel like my leg muscles are probably better because of it, but absolute nightmare.
Right, and you're asking, Bjorn to hold it for those 3 flights of stairs too, when he's like walking.
And he's booking it. He's like, "I gotta go, Mom. I gotta go. You need to let me get down here." And I'm like, I can't keep up with you that quickly. And I feel like going down wasn't as much of the problem as coming back up was. And it was also, I mean, for the first, oh gosh, I want to say maybe a month. It might have been a little bit less than. He was afraid of stairs. So
I remember that.
Carrying him up and down the stairs or trying to gently teach him that stairs are okay. But when a puppy has to go to the bathroom, I'm assuming is probably not the best time to gently explain to them that the stairs are fine. It was just, all right, we gotta get you down. Spoiler alert, he's not afraid of stairs anymore.
He's not afraid of anything anymore.
Oh, he's afraid of quite a bit, I feel
really?
like. But he's, well, I don't know if you would say he's necessarily afraid of everything. He's more alert than other dogs that I've had. He's very aware of his surroundings. I think that comes more and more, especially from being in quarantine for the last month or so. There are people around our house more, and I recognize that he kind of is noticing different things, but he's not necessarily scared. He does not like garbage trucks or garbage cans.
They're pretty scary.
He is not a fan, but I'm
So,
pretty certain he's afraid of Birdie a little bit. I think he loves her, but he's got that like love fear where he's like, oh.
yeah, have you seen her teeth? I mean, she when she bares those teeth, he's like, I love you, but I'm scared of you.
Right. But yeah, my that's my story of getting Bjorn. It was the most exhausting time in my life, but also I think the most fruitful. When I had my first puppy, my golden Stella, I was still living at home and had my family helping train her as well. So Bjorn was the first puppy that I really raised from puppyhood to, I mean, a year and a half, he's still a puppy, but really raised on my own. It was nice for Nico and I to raise him as well. I think that if you are a dog lover and looking to spend the rest of your life with someone, and I'm going to preface this by saying you are in a financially stable situation, getting a puppy is a good indicator of what type of person somebody is, because it puts you through a lot of different stressors. It makes you tired. It's not the equivalent of having a child, but it gives you a good indication of the kind of person that they are, right? And I didn't think I could love Nico anymore at the time that we got Bjorn, and he proved to me very quickly that he is definitely the patient one in our relationship, and he is definitely the sweet one in our relationship.
So he passed the test.
He 100% passed test. I mean, he's still here.
That's a good sign. Yeah, definitely. It definitely has a lot of stress, right? And then you get to see your significant other, how they handle stress through stressful, environments. I mean, we were engaged, but not married at the time. So if he didn't pass the test,
Taken the dog and ran.
yeah, kicked him out.
But the question is, which dog would you have taken?
Oof. I mean, I'd take both of them. It doesn't matter that Kramer was brought into the relationship. I'm taking him too.
Poor Nick.
So how did you pick the name Bjorn?
Bjorn it was a combination of my strong affinity for Scandinavian culture. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm absolutely obsessed with anything Scandinavian, from interiors to food to just overall culture. And I think we kind of wanted to have a name that brought a little bit of that in, but looking at him when he was a puppy, he looked like a bear cub. Almost to the point where he did not look like a dog, and it just kind of worked. I think that was the front runner no matter what. There was a point where we looked at calling him Vader because we're both Star Wars nerds, but I think Bjorn was perfect. He really grew into it too.
Yeah, he really looks like a Bjorn. So did you kind of have a few names that you picked out, and then you waited until he grew up a little bit to kind of see which one he fit better, or did you on day one pick Bjorn?
He was Bjorn instantly.
Oh.
We knew once we got him, he was Bjorn. I think that I don't know if they grow into their names or if you just become so used to them. Mm-hmm. But he definitely, I feel like he grew into his name. We didn't like I was kind of suggesting before, your situation is so much more well thought out and planned than mine.
What are you talking about? I went to go do a work job and I came home with a puppy. Paid an arm and a leg for a puppy.
But I feel like, as a matter of fact, no, I can actually attest to this. You had a whole bunch of names, and you had a whole bunch of reasons for those names already planned out, because we talked about this when we were in Virginia?
That's true. Okay, but so my situation was I I put a deposit down for Birdie when she was 4 weeks old, or 4 or 5 weeks old. So we had 3 weeks of, going back to see her every single week. So we kind of got to know her a little bit. I didn't, I don't think we picked her until she was 5 weeks, 6 weeks old. So we kind of got the feel for like the whole litter. And then once we picked, she was the one that we wanted, we got to see her 2 or 3 more times. And I don't know, it's just, we had a couple of names. I think we had a lot of names in the beginning and then we like whittled it down. We each took turns deleting like 2 names that we didn't want from the list. And then it was down to maybe 2 or 3. And then the time that we went to, I think it was the time before we went to pick her up. It was when she was 7 weeks or something. We decided on Birdie, and it fits her like perfectly. 100%, she's a Birdie.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't imagine like now that I look back on that list, like our front runners, I can't imagine her being any of the other names. Maybe because I've just called her like 1,000 times.
That's true. I feel like I can't look back and imagine Bjorn being called Vader. I can't. I'd have to look at my old notebooks. I know we had other name options for him, but none of them are sticking out.
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know. I think you just associate the name with the dog now that you just can't really imagine them as somebody else, right? Being called somebody
Right?
else.
Has Birdie's name morphed into any nicknames?
Oh, you know. We call her Bird Turd when she's bad. Oh, and she's bad a lot.
I was gonna say I ask because Bjorn's nicknames have just taken on a complete mind of their own. It started with one of the vets that we go to. The vet tech couldn't pronounce his name, so we're in the waiting room and we just hear Bijou. Is there a Bijou here? And we were a little taken back, like, well, that's got to be Bjorn. And I mean, to be fair, it's a very foreign name. I wouldn't expect people to necessarily be able to pronounce it immediately. So we jokingly started calling him Bijou when he was having his sassy moments, which
right.
morphed into Bijube. And I'm not even entirely sure how that happened. I think we were putting his name into a song and he became Bijube. And one day he was just being an absolute utter handful. And I told him to stop being such a jube, which normally wouldn't have stuck, right? But Nico was so upset and disliked that I called him Jube so much that I feel like I call him that more than I actually call him Bjorn.
That's so funny. But I feel like Bjorn is, I mean, it's a foreign name, but it's a pretty common foreign name. Like most people would know how to pronounce it.
I thought so.
Right?
But his vet clinics and grooming appointments and daycare appointments have proven me very wrong.
Bijou is really cute though.
I feel like if there was going to be a mispronunciation of his name, that could not be more spot on because he is quite the diva.
But there's an R and an N after it. Like, what are they thinking?
I mean, to be fair, it was an emergency clinic at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So maybe the guy was tired, but I mean, it gave us a lot of content.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, I think we definitely have a lot of nicknames because with Bird, like there's just so many different ways that you can, make it funny. Like when she snicks her snoot into things, we call it her bird beak. And then her paws, when she's pawing on something, we say like her claws. And we, sometimes like the hair behind her ear is like a little fuzzy and we call it her feathers. It's just, it's endless, And when she was younger, she definitely left a lot of bird turds laying around. I think one time Nick actually he had socks on and he stepped into like a puddle in the house, and that
Oh no.
good thing I never it never happened to me, but I can just imagine the feeling. It's so disgusting. Oh gosh.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about bringing a puppy home? I feel like there's this large dichotomy between fantasy versus reality, and that's something that you don't necessarily see or hear a lot of people talking about, especially with social media the way that it is now. You've got these super cute post pictures of people with their puppies, pictures that I'm guessing took tons and tons of takes, because we've all tried to take pictures with puppies and it's not easy. And I think it's important for not only our followers, but anybody who comes across this podcast to know that it's not easy.
Yeah, I think for me, I just see photos of, dogs and kids cuddling or kissing photos and things like that, where the dog looks great, the mom looks great. I don't know how they did it because I sure didn't take a single good photo in the first 3 months of Birdie's coming home. I was just so tired, and I wanted to get her a potty trained right away, so I knew I had to take her out every hour and a half. Even if she didn't want to go potty, I took her out, and at night it was every 2 hours. So my husband would do like the late night shift where he would do 10 o'clock, midnight, 2 o'clock, and I would take over the early morning shifts. So 4, 6, 8. And I don't know, I just like looked terrible in photos because I just had bags under my eyes.
I don't think I was in a photo with Bjorn until he was at least 5 months old.
Yeah.
Unless it was a really bad selfie. I took tons of pictures of Bjorn with everybody else, but I feel like I was too busy doing other things, and we should share our first pictures with the pups on our Instagram.
I'll probably have to dig that up, but I probably had messy hair. I was in pajamas, and my house is a mess, right? Because usually if I like to take photos at home, I like to clean my house and then put pillows where they're supposed to be and things like that. But when she was a puppy, it was just complete chaos.
Always.
And I forgot to mention this, but the day after Birdie came home, my husband's niece, nephew, and niece's son, we had like five people staying at our house.
Yeah, you had like a full house.
Yeah, we definitely had a full house. They were mostly teenagers, and the baby was 2. So he had to actually, without me, drive to LAX, pick them all up with a puppy, and then he had to stop along the way like 2 times to let her go potty. So, I mean, we don't have kids, so like having a 2-year-old at our house too, with a puppy, and my husband has work. It was a mess, and I wasn't even there.
It was the perfect storm.
So maybe I planned this so I wouldn't be there for the first 2 days.
I was going to say, it sounds very suspicious that you somehow missed all of that.
Right. So 2 days later, I come home. She's potty trained. Just kidding. She's not potty trained.
I think my defining moment was when I realized that Bjorn was not my old dog. And I say this because my last memories of having a dog, aside from her being very sick, were she was completely trained. Easily the best behaved dog I've probably ever come across. I'm sorry, Bjorn, you can't listen to podcasts, but if you could, she's still better behaved than you are.
He'll get there.
He will. He absolutely will. But I forgot that, he's a puppy. He knows nothing. And it's really, really important. And this would be something that I would say to somebody bringing in a puppy with either an older established dog or having had a dog in the past. They are not your old dog. And that goes deeper than just being well behaved. They don't have the same personality quirks. They don't have the same needs. They don't have the same triggers. They're not afraid of the same things. And that's something that I really struggled with, both in personality and also I lost my dog to lymphoma and spent the better part of the last year of her life during doing chemo and walking her through that process. So I'm trained in my mind when I get Bjorn to check her lymph nodes. And if he's sick, it's not just something casual, it's the worst case scenario. And that was something that I really had to put in check, because when Bjorn got sick, it wasn't always the worst case scenario. Just because it happens once, or just because a situation happens with your old dog, doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. And that was when Bjorn got his nickname Bijou, because we were at the emergency vet. I was convinced that he had parvo. And lo and behold, he had a stomach bug because he was a puppy and he had worms. But I think that's another thing I would put out, that you have to remember that they're their own individual little being. And that changed the way that I parented, quote unquote, Bjorn as well. I had to remind myself that he wasn't Stella, and he was experiencing things for the first time, and he needed the same opportunities that I had given my last one.
Yeah, we were just talking about it earlier this week about how we differ in taking our dogs to the vets. And this actually is making a lot of sense, because you did deal with a lot of sickness with your old dog. So you would be more inclined to, whenever Bjorn isn't feeling well, you would rush him to the vet to see what was going on because of your prior experience. My old dog he died when he was 13, but he was a tank. I mean, he was he was bit by rattlesnakes twice, and he had to have the what is it called, venom?
The anti-venom?
Yeah, that injected into him twice, and he had a massive tumor on his side that he carried for like 2 years. So, I mean, nothing really could bother him. So, I had that mentality, and you, of course, had Stella. So, we definitely treat our dogs now a little bit differently because of that.
Yeah, it's crazy how that comes into play, and I have to explain it, obviously not to you, but to some people, because I'm just seemingly that neurotic dog mom. And the go-to that everybody says is that it's not going to be that bad, or that's the worst case scenario. It's not something you're going to have to deal with. And I remember with Stella, she had a teeny tiny little, almost pea-sized bump on her back leg, and I wanted to take her into the vet. I was stressed out. I was worried, because obviously I'm on Google trying to search all these symptoms. And I just remember everybody telling me, it's nothing. Don't worry. Google always stresses people out. And lo and behold, she had cancer. And I think that that's something that I need to make sure I'm cognizant of, and eventually to kind of get over that hump. But to your point, it definitely shapes how I parent Bjorn, for sure.
Yeah, and I always tell you, like, you do you, I laugh at you, of course. Ooh, Birdie just came to visit us. So if you hear a lot of snorting, that's what it is. Hi, Bird.
I love it.
She's saying hi to everybody. She wants my blanket. What was I saying? Yeah, and I always tell you, you should just do you, because you know your dog the best. You know how he acts. If he's acting differently, then there's something wrong, right?
Yeah.
So.
And I think that goes to everybody listening as well. You know your dog the best. You spend the most amount of time with them. At the end of the day, it is better to take them to the vet if you feel uncomfortable. Call the vet, call a friend. There's not going to be a veterinarian out there that says, "Oh, this is nothing, but you were dumb for bringing them in."
Right.
So
exactly.
I would always say, err on the side of caution. If somebody thinks you're a neurotic dog mom, just tell them thank you and go on your merry way.
Yeah, and I want to also talk about this too. Like, find, just like with yourself, right? Find a doctor who knows you, who you get along with, right? Find a vet that works with you, right? Who understands you, understands your dog. We went through, I think, like 3 or 4 vets in my area when Kramer moved here. So it was maybe like 3, 4 years ago, and each vet kind of just didn't vibe with us. So we kept looking for new vets until we found our awesome Dr. Park, and he will always tell it to us straight. And whenever he thinks that we don't need like a checkup or an X-ray or something, he would just tell us. So that also gives me peace of mind, because if I bring Kramer or Birdie to Dr. Park and he tells me that, you need to look into this more, I would definitely spend the money to look into it.
Exactly. And having a vet that knows your dogs and knows how you function, right? I think maybe a vet that resonates with you might not necessarily be the same vet that's going to resonate with me. I'm very lucky. I still take Bjorn to the same vet that Stella went to, Dr. May, and just absolutely love her. But she also went through the cancer with my former dog, so she knows that when I'm in there, I'm going to have a lot of questions. She's always super patient. She never rushes me, and she really walks me through all of the concerns that I have. And I think that's important too. If you're one of those people that doesn't need constant reassurance and can just get in and out, find a vet that is not going to constantly take up your time. But on the flip side of that, it's also okay if you have questions to find a vet that will take their time with you. And I would say, especially as a first-time puppy owner, that's one of the most important things.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I feel like I don't have like a hairstylist, or I don't always go to the same person for anything, but we always go to Dr. Park, because if he's not working that day or he's too busy, we just come back the next day.
Just, yeah.
We're loyal fans. So please never retire.
Our vet and my nail guy are the only people that I consistently go to.
Both my dogs are in the room with me right now.
Oh, I have all of my animals kicked out.
I wish we had video.
Soon.
After quarantine.
Soon. Yes.
Okay.
So I feel like we've gone through a lot of the trials and the tribulations and the bad sides of having a puppy. Well, I wouldn't say bad, but the realistic sides of having a puppy, right?
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite memories with Birdie as a puppy?
Oh my gosh. I just think Birdie's just like such a funny dog. Her mannerisms and the way she acts are just hilarious. Like, she would be upside down and her little snaggle tooth, but it should look like a little land shark, And she still does this to this day, but she loves to chomp on things. She just makes me laugh all the time, every single day. So I remember being mad at her. I remember, trying to discipline her and all that. But I still remember all the times that she makes me laugh. And we have like a little bar cart at our house. So when she first came home, she could go under like the first run, like the first level. And then as she got bigger, she could get through between the first and the second levels. And, now she can't fit in there at all. So it's funny that we still have that. And I just can't imagine she being so small that she could fit under. It's like, I think 4 inches tall. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Does she still try to fit under it though?
No,
because Bjorn still tries to fit under things that he used to fit under. And it's almost comical. You're not going to make it, buddy. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do to help you fit under the sofa anymore.
Yeah, I think she tried a little bit, but now she doesn't even try. But maybe sometimes she'll put her head under the couch because her head still fits, but it just comes up to her shoulder, She's got broad shoulders now.
Oh, it's crazy to think they've grown up so much. I look back probably too much on when Bjorn was a puppy, and seeing him almost the size of my cats is crazy, and seeing the pure fascination with them. And just, I took him everywhere. He was my partner in crime almost instantly. He came to work with me every single day. Yeah. He was potty trained at the ZippyPaws offices. He's been going to Target and Nordstrom since he was 3.5, 4 months old. I think one of my favorite memories is my boyfriend is a musician, and we took him backstage at one of his shows. He's been backstage at multiple venues in Southern California, and he had his special little dog earmuffs on so that it didn't hurt his ears.
I've
before
never
anybody
seen
went.
that. Have you shown me
Oh,
a
I'll have to
picture?
I think I have. I know he's probably got one on his abandoned Instagram account. That was back when we were trying to train him to be a service dog to help me recognize asthma attacks. Another spoiler alert, that didn't happen. Absolutely did not happen. But yeah, we had giant, I think the picture that we have that I can see in my brain, we had giant earphones on him that were actually made for children, for infants that are either at shows or on airplanes. But I had to sit there and hold it, and he sat there and watched his dad drum.
Oh, how cute.
Probably one of my favorite memories. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should talk about that too, the different levels of service dogs, ESA, therapy dogs. There's a lot of difference in that. So
Yeah, I think that's important. Both you and I have registered emotional support animals, but I think it is definitely worth noting that as an emotional support animal, they are not service animals.
Right.
That is definitely something worth pointing out, right? There's a stark difference between the jobs and duties between each. I think it's definitely a good one to look into
good
for a
topic.
future episode.
I'm just looking at old photos on my phone right now, and she has the cutest jammies.
Oh, same.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
Bjorn doesn't have cute jammies, but
I think Birdie really loved wearing clothes, so we always
you
buy
know
a
what's
lot of clothes.
terrible
Mhm.
is that I bought Birdie a dress, and I don't think I bought Bjorn something to wear until so much longer.
Yeah, we were at a show in Virginia when the Birdie came home, and then on the last day, Ashley bought Birdie a dress. I think it was like $5 or $10 or something like that. They were on sale, and it's like the cutest thing. I have to show. I have to post pictures on our Instagram later. But it's like pink with this polka dot dress, and then I have a video of her like strutting down and looking back like she's in a fashion
She's
show.
so cute. Oh, you know what?
You
I
brought
take it back.
the raincoat, or no, the
Bjorn has a trench coat.
the
He
trench
got a
coat.
trench coat.
Yeah.
But it was too big, and it's funny because it's still almost too big for him. He didn't grow as large as we thought he was going to. So I bought a trench coat. It was just perfect, but it was massively, massively oversized.
Can
so-
you imagine him like going to a show with that?
Well, he did have a battle vest. He had a denim battle vest with patches on it that he wore to shows. He's quite the little rock and roller.
Oh gosh, I'm just looking at pictures to like help me think of memories, because you think of like so many happy moments with your dog, but you can't really think of like a specific memory.
I do love when Bjorn met Kramer for the first time.
Oh yeah, we got a picture of that, huh?
We do have a picture of that. And he was just so enamored with Kramer from the very beginning.
He really, you could really tell that he looked up to Kramer. I think also at the time Kramer was really floofy, so he looked a lot bigger than he was.
Oh, yeah. And Kramer was just so sweet with Bjorn, too. He would watch him no matter what he did. And then Bjorn would, in turn, do absolutely everything that Kramer did. If Kramer sat, Bjorn would sit. If he laid down, Bjorn would lay down. If he got up to look at something, Bjorn would want to go follow him. It was very sweet.
Yeah, it was so cute. I think Bjorn, Kramer really thought of Bjorn as kind of like my little sister's friend, right?
I thought my sister was annoying. Her friend is even worse.
No, he's probably like, you're much better than my sister. I feel like we need to post like a bunch of photos this time.
Yeah, we'll have to share. Maybe we make it a blog post.
Yeah.
Share some of our favorite memories with our pups. Oh no, it's giving me puppy fever.
Uh-oh. Do you think you're gonna get another dog? Should we talk about that?
Are you baiting me? Is that
Mm-hmm.
what's going on?
I'm just opening it up if you want to discuss your future dog.
So I guess. No, I'm only kidding. We have actually already committed to adopting another dog. She is not a puppy. She's about Bjorn's age. They're calling her a Shepherd Basenji mix, but not entirely sure exactly what she is. The fun part about that is we have not gotten her yet. She is coming from Moscow, Russia. She is a rescue story from Russia. They have a shelter in Moscow that has, I believe, over 1,500 dogs, and is this a long story that I will not get into yet until I have her with me. But by chance, we were put in touch with a rescue that pulls the more socialized dogs out of the shelter and helps them find homes. And so we've been getting pictures and videos. We agreed to adopt her 2 days before the COVID restrictions got put in place. So we are patiently waiting for the airports and everything essentially to open up. Moscow is completely closed, but hopefully Bjorn will have a little sister maybe the end of May.
That's so exciting. Can't wait.
It is. It's going to be lots of emotions and lots of tears at LAX when we pick her up, but we do know that she's an absolute sweetheart. She loves other dogs. She loves other cats. I think once we get her, we can kind of go more into detail about the entire process, because it's a learning experience for me too. But they seem to be doing a really, really great job over in Russia with their rescue dogs. So
That's awesome. How do you think Bjorn's gonna feel when he sees her?
The amount of videos that I have watched on integrating two dogs is insane. But you can speak to this as well. He's an absolute sweetheart. He loves every single dog, probably more than most people. I'm guessing he's going to love her. I want him to love her. But we've been in close communication with our vet in how that's going to work out. Obviously, coming from another country, it's not a situation where we can take them to a shelter and see if they're going to interact and how they're going to get along. So we have a lot of different backup plans in place. I know somebody that will take her in the very off chance that Bjorn doesn't fall in love with her, but I'm hoping he has a brief moment of, oh crap, I'm not the only child anymore, and then just gets over it.
Yeah, because he's a big mama's boy. So how's he gonna feel when he has to share mama's love and attention? I'm sure he'll be fine. He's such a sweetheart.
I struggled with that, though. It was something that I personally worried about, thinking, oh, it's going to break Bjorn's heart. But Bjorn has had such a fantastic life. I mean, from the minute that we got him, he's spoiled rotten. His mom works at a dog toy company. Mm-hmm. It's like a child's mom working at Toys R Us. I think that can't be the only reason for not adopting another dog. So I don't want to be the person that says he's just going to have to get over it, because that's a very dangerous mentality to have. But if it's solely because he doesn't want to share mom, he's going to have to get over that part. I don't want to say it, but I will.
He's going to have to learn to share. Yes. And speaking of, our dogs, their moms work at a dog toy company. On our walk yesterday, Birdie found a stone, like a rock, and she brought it home, and now that's all she wants to play with. She just wants to play with this rock. I don't even know what to say. Like, I have hundreds of dog toys at home, and she just doesn't care about any of them anymore.
I was gonna make a really rude comment about what does that say about your toys, but
right?
I'll refrain.
Should I just sell like 3-pack rocks? Should that be like the hot new item for fall this year?
I feel like there's a conversation to be had there. Maybe we need to make some rock toys and some stick toys.
Some sticks. I'll go out and collect six sticks and package them, sell it. Rocks too, and my dogs really love pine cones, so 2-pack pine cones. Would anybody buy that? $5.99.
I feel like it's a larger blow to your ego because you don't have cats. And I would argue that any cat moms out there can relate to this. Cats are the absolute worst when it comes to buying them toys. I do not buy my cats toys anymore. They do play with Zippy burrows occasionally, but I would spend tons of money on these cute little cat toys, and they want to play with boxes or a piece of lint or a shoelace.
I've heard that.
I feel like I understand Birdie's infatuation with rocks probably a little bit more. I wouldn't take it too personally.
Because usually she has like a bird brain where her attention span is very, very short. Right. So she'll like play with one thing and then she'll be like, oh, my foot. Let me chew on my foot a little bit. And then, let me just roll over and fall over and things like that. But she's like infatuated with this rock. So maybe I should research this rock and see, why dogs love it and how to like put it in a toy, right?
If it makes you feel any better, Bjorn still has the first toy that you ever gave him. Do you remember what it was?
Oof. It was a fire hose crayon.
It was.
In the yellow.
And,
yes.
And I've tried to recycle that crayon, and he's pulled it out of the trash.
Is it frayed?
It's very, very, very lightly frayed. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has the complete ability to absolutely annihilate the toy. He just hasn't. The squeaker doesn't work anymore, and I've tried to monitor it as best I can. It gets washed and it's held up, but he just loves that crayon.
That's so funny. I think
that's his go-to.
I think all dogs have like a toy, maybe not from puppyhood, but from many, many years ago that they never let you throw away, right? Like you just can't throw it away because it's your absolute favorite. It's probably been through the wash so many times. It's stringy, it's dirty, it's stinky, but you just can't throw it away.
Oh, those puppies. I'm curious to know what our followers, what toy does your puppy just love to death? Or dog. What toy can your dog just not let go?
Yeah,
hopefully it's not a rock.
Right? Like on our website we have pictures of our dogs and their favorite toy. I'm just gonna change Birdie's to some rock from my neighborhood because she obviously doesn't like ZippyPaws anymore.
I mean, we could just stamp ZP on it.
I'm just so heartbroken that she loves this rock that her dad gave her on a walk than all of the toys that I've brought home for her to play. I'm so mad. Oh gosh. So let us know on our Facebook or Instagram, and if you want to hear us talk about another topic that you're interested in, let us know as well.
Absolutely. As always, thanks for listening. We hope to catch you guys next time. And if you want to boop that follow button, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Dog Mom Podcast and our website at www.zippypaws.com/Dog Mom Podcast.
All right. See you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.